What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the Fansproject, and I'm going to try not to forget their names. Actually, I can't. I'm cheating. I've got the instruction manuals right here. This is Dino Ichi, and this is Dino Son. Yeah, possibly the most confusing set of names Fansprojects ever released. However, I can't remember the Japanese names for these guys too, so I think there is some merit to them being Dino Ichi and Dino Son. I'm pretty sure it is something very confusing in Japanese. So is Raiden for that purpose, but you know, whatever. So yeah, this is two of the Dino King bots here from Fansproject, and I figured in the effort to finish some combiners, I'm going to go ahead and do these two at a time, especially these guys. They're pretty simplistic, so I thought we'd take a look at them. So they definitely have some weird proportions. I want to come right out the gate here and say that when I first saw these guys, I really wasn't very sold on them. Yeah, and even when I got them in hand the first time, I still wasn't sure I was sold on them. I actually cheated and went ahead and combined what I got, which was these two guys and one of the limbs. And then when I saw the combined mode, I'm like, okay, it's kind of starting to make some sense here. So I'm happy with that. And we'll get onto that scale, I guess, towards the end when we actually have all these guys together. But they are small, and for like a size comparison reference, well, I thought they were smaller than they actually were, but when you do put them next to your TFC Red First Aid here and your MP card, like, it's not a huge difference, it just somehow feels smaller. Now the limb bots are a little bit smaller. I'll bring these guys back out when we review them next week. So Dino Ichi and Dino Son here make the chest area and like the abdomen crotch area of the combined mode respectively, and we'll show that when we do the combined mode on its own. So they tend to be the two beefier units. I don't know what the legs are going to look like. I think they're pretty chunky too, but your arms are much thinner. Dino Ichi also comes with the foot accessory, which does incorporate the hand in here in one of the nicer ways, actually. It just kind of, well, we got to get that out of the way, but just kind of pegs right on into that pole there. So it's really a nice incorporation of the accessories here. In a nice little package. Now, they do give you some suggestions here of things to do. If you don't think the proportions on this guy are already messed up enough, you can plug these right into the back here, like so. And he does stand like a trooper, so I'll give him props for that, but you get these big things on the back, or you can plug this in to the side of his arm at the top here to give him like a gun. Or this one actually opens up here, so you could alternatively plug it the other way here to give them like a missile pod thing. And that's what they recommend doing, or they tell you to do. I think it's better to just leave that in the box and not bother with it. You can also do the same type of thing here for Dino Son by clipping it right in place here, and it does clip in place, so it's not going anywhere. But here we go, we'll do one rocket launcher, one gun, and his head is totally lost in there, and he has heel spurs that you can kind of adjust so you can make it work, but he is harder to stand up than Dino Ichi here. Personally, I still think that this is just a waste of time, and these will stay in the box, but it is a nice option if you are trying to keep all the combiner bits here in one place. So let's talk articulation here. The head is on a ball joint here, but because of the molding of like the collar and how recessed in the head is, it does tend to get in the way, so he's not going to get too much side-to-side motion, and he looks a little bit silly doing it. I wish there was a way to like pull the head up a little bit more. There's not. On the shoulder is a pinned hinge here, and then it swivels at the shoulder. Watch for these claws, they're pretty sharp. The bicep swivels, a double jointed elbow, no rotation on the wrist with the exception of what transforms it. Coming down to the waist, you do have a waist rotation. Just need to get the head of the dinosaur out of the way. Coming down to the legs, you have nice beefy ratchets. They do tend to mess with the little pivots here on the hips when you operate them, so you are going to find yourself having to adjust these, and it's not pleasant to do that because again you have sharp blades, sharp spikes. He's pretty nasty to try to to touch. Yeah, coming down to the knee, just a single ratcheted knee, nothing wrong with that. And down to the foot here, you do have a pivot because it's on a ball joint, and you can get some forward and back. And then, like I said, the heel spurs are kind of adjustable, so you can kind of lean them forward and stuff to do better things with them. That said, because he is the crotch of Dino King and eventually Monstructor, he does have this way of looking a little bit silly because it's just a huge crotch. And I think that's the big problem with this set, is because he's really designed for the combined mode. These guys do end up looking a little bit on the silly side. So we'll get on to Dino Ichi here. And one thing I forgot to mention, every one of these guns is designed that they're all going to form together to make the gun for Monstructor. So that's cool, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's pretty well done. On the Monstructor, or Dino Ichi, and if I said Monstructor, I meant Dino King. Anyway, his head, very Grimlock looking there, I must say. But on a ball joint here, the shoulders are on this like hinge mechanism here. And then they rotate this way, but if you rotate them this way, you're probably going to start transforming him, this piece that moves. So it's usually best to rotate his arms backwards when you want to position him, because forward just messes everything up. So that's kind of, it is a pain, I gotta admit, that's a big pain of this guy. You do have a waist down here. Unfortunate that the screws show here and there's no way to change that. You could flip it around this way, but then you get the screws of his butt, so you can't win no matter which way you go, which is a little bit of a shame. I kind of wonder why they didn't put it the other way, but whatever. So, and you can see pretty much his alt mode on his back there. Coming down to the actual legs, nice soft ratchet here with a harder ratchet there. Thigh swivel, the knee joint. Did I do the elbow and the bicep swivel? I don't remember. Again, very nice there, and you do actually have a rotation on the wrist this time. And then coming down to here, your foot is ball jointed here, so you get quite a bit of motion on it. No problem there. Again though, he is pretty stocky, so getting him into a pose that in my opinion looks cool can be a little bit difficult to do. Yeah, and I don't know, if you're like me, these guys in pictures and stuff don't look so well, but the more I've messed with them, the more I've kind of liked these robots, even though they are a bit weird looking and such. They just happen to work, and yeah, you know, I mean, they're not so bad. So let's get Dino Ichi to his monster mode, and I do want to say this gun is real tight. It takes some doing to get it pegged in there. I don't know if I want to enlarge that or sand this down a little, but be careful putting this in. It doesn't feel like it wants to go, and then it'll just slide on in. It's a bit scary. Yeah, so let's go to his actual monster mode. We'll start by tucking in his head. We'll flip him around, and we're done. Not quite, but it is pretty true for the most part. We're also going to flip the waist. Take this, slide the foot across like that, and flip it around. Slide the foot across and flip it around. Take this piece here and rotate it forward on here so that joint flops down to the bottom there and locks in place on both sides here. So just like that, should clip into place pretty solidly. It's not going to go anywhere. Now we can flip the arms around here and take this, pull out the claw, fold this around, and fold the fist up, and then fold the claw like that. So do that again, flip it around, fold the fist in, and flip this on around. And there we go, we've got Dino Ichi in his whatever the heck monster you would call this. I guess he's Dino King because of the shells, but I mean, honestly, he's so far from being anything dinosaur in this mode. He's really almost more of a monster than Monstructor is. Yeah, actually no, not Monstructor. Monstructor makes sense. I'm thinking of Abominus. But yeah, so you got this weird something or other going on here, and Wasn't a big fan of this at first, but I really love how this looks now. I love the head here. Nice articulation on the head. The jaw opens nice and wide, which is always nice. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's definitely creepy. Dino Son here is a little bit more difficult to transform. We're gonna pop his head down. We'll take his gun out of here. We'll bring this around here, like so. Unpeg this. Bring it on around. And bring that claw around to kind of make his foot there. Unpeg it. Flip it around. Flip this around. And we got his claw. We can take this head for the whatever it is mode and plug that down in place here. Just like... Okay, so on to the feet here. This is the part that always gets me a little held up here. What you want to do is start by pulling this out, and this one I guess I didn't have pegged in all the way because it does clip into this piece of material right here. So you do have to kind of give it a little sideways torquing and pull it out. Flip in the heel spurs here. I'm not sure how I accidentally did that before. And flip these panels around to the other side. Now you got a little bit of a Combiner Wars thing going on where this kind of unpegs and comes back up just like this. And at this point you want to unpeg this crotch piece, which just kind of pulls straight out here and down. So from here we want to clean up the actual feet here. So this piece rotates down, and you do have to work a little to get this panel behind the thigh piece here, and you want the foot to be at the top just like that. But once you get it around, it should look something like that with the panel on the inside here. So let's try to do that again. I hope you guys were able to see it. So we're taking this around, bringing all this down so it's just like that. Now we're going to take these thigh pieces and kind of rock them out so it's a little bit closer together, and you'll know you have it at the right distance because you want to bring this down, and then the black pieces here plug right into that crotch piece here, just like so, to make the back of the beast like that. Now we can come to his legs here, rotate them all the way down and back, and kind of fold them out like this. If you do think that that is too far back, you do have the option. There we go. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't locking. If you do think that's too far back, you can always bring them on forward to the forward click. It's really on you where you like the leg placed. The official way is to bring it all the way to the back. I'm pretty sure that's the official way. I may be just saying things because the legs don't really make any sense. But there you go. We've got Dino Son in his robot monster mode, I should say. And you can, if you want, attach the gun. Thought you could attach the gun. There you go. Into one of these ports here, if that's your thing. On Dino Ichi, there is some little ports on the side of his arms here. If you want to plug the gun, I mean, I don't think that looks good. I would rather my monsters, if I'm going to display them in this mode, just be without their weapons, because I just think they look better that way. And once again, his mouth does open, but instead of opening from the bottom, you have to hold it and open the top, revealing a bunch of little sharp teeth there. So let's get these guys transformed back and let's get out of here. We'll start with Dino Ichi. We'll bring his arm all the way around here to the top. Actually, no, we'll leave it down here first, just so we can rotate that around. Then we'll bring it back to the top. Take his fist, unplug it, bring this around, swivel the claw, plug it back into the arm there, and we'll bring that down. So swivel this around, bring the camera up so you guys can see it a little bit better. Take the fist out, swivel it around, swivel the claw, plug it back in, and then bring the arm back up. Take his head and try to get it out of here. It can be a little bit on the difficult side. I always recommend having the handy dandy fiddly bit extractor. Official Hail Hasbro product. Bring that around. There we go. Get his head out. Rotate his waist down here. Put the foot to the side and flip it around. Foot to the side, flip it around. And he's done and ready to go. Now Dino Son, very easy. We'll start by folding up his foot and plugging all this back in together on both sides here. I always flip this around so I remember which way I'm supposed to be looking at it. Just like so. Bring these down. Unpeg this from here if it didn't happen already, and you can bring this up and snap it into place. Bring this foot assembly out and around. Out and around. Rotate the leg out all the way. This will let you take this, flip it on up, and flip the foot down, bring it up, and clip it in place, just like so. Bring out the heel spur, and then just kind of rotate the legs to where you like them, and they're not in the way. I like them personally kind of like that. The instructions show them more like this, I believe. Whichever one you prefer, I guess. Bring this down again. Flip this around. Flip it up. Bring the heel down. Again, the clip into place. Whoops. Open the heel spurs here. This guy is so sharp. It's just one of my biggest complaints on this is just how sharp everything is. Like, they're not fun to transform because by the time you're done, your fingers hurt from poking yourself so much. This guy's fun. This guy's not so much fun. Anyway, whatever. Flip the claws around here. Flip the hands. And plug the claws in like that. Flip it around. Rotate it around. Plug it into the elbow joint. Close the mouth. Flip it down just like so. And then you can open this to get yourself a little better access and close it on up. And there we go. There's Dino San and Dino Ichi. Overall, I will say, wasn't going to be a fan of the robot modes. In fact, I preferred one of the limbs to the robot mode of this guy, but his monster mode to the bird. After having them for a little while, I gotta say, like, they have some personality and they're fun, and they are pretty fun to mess with, albeit sharp and not fun to transform them all at one time. But yeah, I think they're good. But if you are not into the combined mode, you're probably not going to find anything here you like. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.